Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources. Updating daily at 6 a.m. New York. New York Times World News.
October 1st. 5 o'clock America, New York, in China, living not with COVID, but with zero COVID. The country's strict coronavirus restrictions dictate the patterns of daily life, like waiting in line for frequent COVID tests and stocking up on extra groceries in case of lockdown. A COVID testing station in Beijing in September.
New York Times World News. October 1st. 5 o'clock America, New York, battered by floods and trapped in debt, Pakistani farmers struggle to survive. The recent flooding has plunged small farmers in sharecropping arrangements further into debt with their landlords, a cycle that has worsened as extreme weather events become increasingly common.
Mirror World News. October 1st. 4:10 America, New York. Murderer who beheaded student, 21, with saw kills himself in his prison cell. Mustafa Murat Ayhan had confessed to murdering victim Azra Gulendam Haydolu and brutally cutting her body into 13 pieces in Turkey before killing himself in his prison cell in Diyarbakir. RT World News.
October 1st. 3:49 America, New York. North Korea conducts weapons test after U.S.-led drill. The missiles may have flown on irregular trajectories. Japan has said North Korea fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles on Saturday, just after a U.S.-led joint anti-submarine drill took place, making it the 4th such launch in 1 week, South Korea and Japan say.
Mirror World News.
October 1st. 2:39 America, New York. 500,000-year-old tusk of gigantic, extinct elephant hunted by early humans unearthed. A team of archaeologists are now working to excavate the tusk, which will be studied and eventually displayed in a museum.
RT World News.
October 1st. 2:08 America, New York. Bill Gates warns of scary winter for Europe. The billionaire climate change crusader said Western reliance on Russian fossil fuels will not abate anytime soon.
Mirror World News.
October 1st. 0:53 America, New York. Vladimir Putin could attack UK communications from space, warns Army Chief. Admiral Sir Tony Radakin reportedly warned that Russian leader Vladimir Putin had the capabilities to launch an attack from space on Western communication systems by bringing down satellites.
Washington Post World.
October 1st. 0:15 America, New York. Orlene expected to be hurricane off Mexico's Pacific coast. Tropical storm Orlene is expected to grow into a hurricane Saturday as it heads for an expected landfall on Mexico's northwestern Pacific coast.
New York Times World News.
October 1st. 0:01 America, New York. Panic. A mountain pass into Georgia has become a choke point for Russians fleeing the country, many of them men who faced being drafted and sent to fight in Ukraine. Sergei with his 2 children Daniil, 10, and Karina, 10, in a hotel room in Stepetsminda, Georgia.
BBC News World.
September 30th. 23:29 America, New York. Ukraine war. Biden says U.S. will not be intimidated by reckless Putin. The U.S. president leads condemnation of Vladimir Putin after he annesses 4 occupied regions of Ukraine.
RT World News.
September 30th. 22:32 America, New York. U.S. avoids shutdown of critical Ukraine aid flow. The bill intended to keep the U.S. government running includes $12.3 billion in Ukraine aid. U.S. President Joe Biden has signed a temporary spending bill into law, avoiding a federal government shutdown until mid-December.
BBC News World.
September 30th. 22:11 America, New York. Hurricane Ian. Bigotry couldn't beat this family, then came the storm. Their ancestors were among the first Black Americans on Sanibel Island. Hurricane Ian drove them away.
Fox World News.
September 30th. 22:06 America, New York. Ukraine, more united than before, Russian invasion, journalism student says. It was a fight for survival. Journalism student Alina Konovalyuk explained about living last winter in occupied Kherson, a city now in line for annexation into Russia.
Washington Post World.
September 30th. 22:02 America, New York. UN chief urges Yemen's warring sides to renew expiring truce. The UN chief is strongly urging Yemen's warring parties to not only renew but expand a truce that expires Sunday, saying it has brought the longest period of relative calm since the conflict began in 2014.
Time.
September 30th. 21:47 America, New York. Here's everything new on Netflix in October 2022. The October lineup on Netflix fits the month to AT. Largely spooky, a little bit scary, tinged with suspense. On October 5, Mr. Harrigan's Phone, based on the short story by Stephen King, tells the tale of an unlikely friendship between small-town kid Craig, Jaden Martell, and the reclusive billionaire Mr.